and it's just a chat about work, and that's it.
I mean,
This
you could have picked a less shit subject.
right, it's just all the other subjects have gone in podcasting.
Okay,
I
let's stick
came.
with work then.
Let's stick with work and productivity. That's right. We are back with season 2 of Procrastinate. Finally, I can hear you say in your head, so maybe out loud too. It's called Procrastinate, okay? So don't expect the second season to come immediately after the first season. It might be a very long time before I do season 3, but we are back and we're going to get straight into it. Last spring, I had the pleasure of meeting a man called Colin Hill, and I thought this is a really cool guy. I'd love to chat to him a bit further. How can I engineer a conversation? Via my podcast. So he's fantastic. He calls himself an event manager, but we'll get more into his job and how he gets stuff done. I think you're really going to love this conversation. I thought it was fantastic. I got so much out of it. I hope you get something out of it too. Let's talk procrastination. Welcome to Procrastinate, Colin Hill. Event manager, I should say, Colin Hill. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Event
You're good.
manager doesn't really cover it all, though, does it?
But it
Hey.
doesn't cover it all. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that.
Okay,
First of
cool.
all, I ask everybody who comes onto this podcast one question on the off, and that is, what should you be doing instead of this conversation right now? What have you put off to have this chat with me?
Well, I walked into my house about 1 second before I logged on because I've just been at a meeting with a client for a new hotel that we're launching or helping to launch. And I realized about 24 minutes ago that I was quite far away from home and they started at 1 o'clock. So I had
So
to
you,
make a I had to make a dash decision, like flag down a cab and like hail the way up Bethnal Green Road to get here.
I'm so grateful you did that, but I wish you just said I can't do it. I feel I
No,
feel
do you know what?
terrible.
No, that's not how it works, really. I think that, there's in my world, there's now or not now, and you've just got
Yeah.
to get it done. That's it. That
So
putting things off doesn't work.
So I completely agree. And I'm going to talk about lots of things you said, but they're now or not now. So sometimes I've got to get something done and I'll think of it and I'll do it. And like my partner or someone will be like, no, 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 do it later. And I'm like, there's no later. I will forget. And in
Yeah.
three years down the line,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
will be repercussions.
Are
Is
you
that how
ADHD?
no, but I
I
think
am.
I would say adjacent. But yeah. So is that something that you've had to deal with? Like that constant, I've got to do it now. Otherwise, this will never
Um,
happen.
I think that now I realize that that's the thing. Before I just thought that I was super on the ball.
Right.
Makes sense. It was just super
Yeah.
on. It was like just get it over and done with, then it's gone. Now I realize if I don't do it now, it's not going to get done. So it's
Yeah.
now or now. That's the only time that exists in me. Now or not now. There's no later. Now or not now. And
Yeah.
now can move a lot. Now's quite linear. It moves. But as long as you get me in the now, I'm super productive.
And sometimes what I'll do is if I can't do it there and then, like maybe I'm driving, I'll do something to remind me that it has
I
to be done.
I
Does that
get
make like a
yeah.
placeholder?
Yeah, I get most of my work done driving. So
Oh my God.
I live between two houses. So I live in Yorkshire and I live in London. All my work's in London, but I kind of run back to Yorkshire each week to kind of just to breathe.
Because it's
Um,
Yorkshire.
yeah, because it's
It's a
Yorkshire.
magical county.
It's green, it's the waterfalls, it's forests, it's farmland, it's the opposite of central London. And but what I do is that 4 hour drive is probably twice a week is my most productive time of the week. When I'm on the motorway, I'm driving like an old lady at like 69, and there'll be like boy racers in like, you know, I don't know, kiddie
Golfs.
cars. Not
Yeah.
even golfs, kiddie cars flying past me. So what I do use is like AirPlay on the phone on the car is a godsend because all my apps are on there, so I can log into Teams calls, I can send voice notes, I can just do everything on there, and I find that that helps massively. And I also listen to podcasts, so I do some learning
Wow.
as well.
Okay.
So I use that 4 hours or 8 hours a week. I use it really proactively now or productively.
That's a good. I find that quite relatable because, but it's not quite as like risky. I'm walking.
I make myself sound like Donald Trump or something, don't
No, it's
I?
sort of like Donald Trump slash Lewis Hamilton. You know, it's very
Donald
like
Hamilton,
it's it.
Lewis Trump.
It
Let's roll
makes you
with that
sound
one.
very important doing stuff whilst you're
I
driving. I mean,
Yeah, it really helped.
but we're gonna go come back to that too actually. So I have the similar thing, but the way my mental like my mental pathways just start firing off if I'm walking. So if I have a show like a stand up gig, and I've done it, the amount of material I can write just walking home, like to the station or something.
And
But
when
I
you say
often yeah.
walking, I mean, sorry, walking and writing, is that like voice noting?
Voice notes, yeah. So I do voice to text on my phone, and then I have to decipher it at some point in the
Yeah.
future when I remembered that I thought of something.
And is it often gobbledygook?
Often it's like it might as well be hieroglyphics sometimes.
Yeah. And
But you have to
it's
find.
mixed with telling people to F off that's cut you up
Do you know? So I often
and cussing out
yeah.
people who've like got in your way.
I'm often using voice notes at home, doing text to speech, and I'll shout at my kids, and then it will be like, "Great material, great material." What? Have you washed your hands? Have you washed your hands? You've got to decide on what to watch on the TV before you put it on. I don't want you like it's literally like just that. It's just material, discipline,
Yeah. And
material.
then you blend straight back into material without dropping
Yeah.
the
It's funny what and I'm sure that these people are collecting everything we tell them. So they must be like
Oh, they're
Google.
100%
I'm
collecting.
I'm pretty sure evidence the social services are going to use evidence from Google and what
Are
I've
you one
said
of
into
those
the phone.
are you one of those people that covers their camera?
No, I used to be years ago, but now what's the point? Do you cover your camera?
No, do I? I think if anybody wants to see my ugly ass, then they're more than happy to look at it.
Colin, you're literally one of the most handsome guys I've ever met. What are you talking about?
See how I lined you up for that one.
Exactly. It's just going to be the compliment podcast. But back to work because you do a job that a lot event management requires lots of plates to be spun at
Does.
particular times, at particular speeds, at particular angles, in front of particular people. It requires so many balls to be juggled. So, how did you find yourself in a role like this when? You've got to when your personality seems to be like I have to do a lot of things. I've got to do them now. Like I
Yeah.
guess you enjoy it first of all.
I think that it was a natural thing. I think that I was only diagnosed with ADHD no, the year before, so 2 years. And up until that point, I think that I just filled myself with shit to keep busy because that's the way that it never got too much.
Right.
So keep busy, keep going, have too many things on because like the noise, the extra kind of processing, if you're using it to death, then you're not over processing, you're not overthinking, you're not over anything. So I think that I just fell into the right role for me. For an event manager, you need to be able to process at my speed. And most of the guys that I know that are good are ADHD that do my job.
Yeah, that's very similar in the comedy world as well. Just like process, and also the hype. That I don't know if you have this, but the fixation, hyperfixation,
Yeah.
the way that the bit conversely, but also it's like a different side of the same coin. The ability to kind of filter out things and just to fixate on something until
Yeah.
it's right. Is that something that you feel like you've benefited
Yeah,
from?
well, and everybody has a different version of being neurospicy. Yeah, we all have a different way that it affects us. Um, for me, I can hear like lots of conversations at the same time. If I'm in a restaurant, I can hear table four, table nine, table 10, just
Mm,
because my bandwidth is wide. So you do have to also be able to go, right, I'm just gonna shut all that out and
yeah,
concentrate on this. But again, everybody's different. For me, I just keep busy. That's the only way. I just keep busy. So
yeah,
if I keep busy, it works. If I'm never not busy, so who knows?
yeah.
Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see to that one wild day when there's a unicorn when I'm not busy.
Yeah, another lockdown. What was lockdown like for you when
And
things
I just broke the law all the time.
you just yeah, hanging out with Boris?
What? I had a great lockdown. So no, it was interesting because it's the first time that I've not worked, but I did. I did the, you know, the volunteering where you got the app on your phone and
Yeah.
I was picking up prescriptions for old people. I was going around and putting the bins out for people who were in quarantining. You know, I was dropping off shopping. You know, like people would text me their shopping and I'd drop it off.
Oh,
I just kept myself busy. You know, I helped a few friends that needed you know, bits and bats. You know, I just kept busy.
I
I
did.
wasn't really that guy that sat around. And I've always got a development on from a renovation. I like a house project. So I just started my house and just did it from top to bottom again. It didn't need doing, but I had time on my hands. So why not pull all the, you know, pull all the paint off the walls and get it all replastered and change the flooring and
Did you do it all yourself?
I did all the bits that I can do myself.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I think that something that people don't often acknowledge is how neurodiversity can often go hand in hand with people being of service because of that desire to be useful. And it's
Yeah,
not
you
it's
know what
not
it is
always.
because we want to fix something. We like to fix
Oh,
something.
okay.
100%.
I hadn't thought of it like
100%.
that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
like to fix something. So they say, don't they, that in a drama you want an ADHD person near you because calming drama like with where you know we can like wild out over the smallest thing. You know, someone could be like, you know, your hair could be touching you incorrectly, but then you know someone has a heart attack in front of you, and when everybody else is falling to pieces, you've just suddenly learned how to do CPR.
Yeah, you're like a superhero.
Yeah,
I'm s-
exactly that.
remember, do
Well,
you
it's
remember
a
that?
super skill, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. You said you got your diagnosis a couple of years ago. What was it that made you think I think I need to be clinically assessed for this? Was it one thing or was it just
Yeah, I mean, I joked for years saying, "Oh, that's my ADHD," not really even knowing what it was. I just like threw it in there like salt and pepper,
yeah.
and then we did a thought leadership session where we had a panel, and it was about ADHD, and on this panel there were four different people. One of them was I can't remember his name, but he was a young kid from South London. He was about 20 years old and he was like an ADHD advocate now, but he was a rapper and he spoke about he was only 20, so he spoke about his schooling, and his schooling just sounded exactly like mine, you know. I was thrown out of school at, I don't know, I can't tell you how many times. And then it got to 15 and they threw me out for good. That was it, expelled. And told I'd do nothing and go nowhere and, you know, all this
Yeah.
kind of nonsense. And he was saying the same thing. And when he was saying about how he felt and how he wasn't a bad kid, and they were, you know, there were kids at school that were way worse than me. Like I was brought up well, respectful, you know, come from a good home, all of those things. And then there was these kids that were, you know, robbing and stealing and taking drugs and smoking and having sex and everything that I wasn't doing. But what I didn't do is take any bullshit. So if you said something that I disagree with, I'm going to tell you,
Mm.
especially if it's untrue or if you're trying to gaslight me or you're trying to gaslight somebody else or you're trying, you know, I would tell you irrespective as to who you are. So that didn't go well at school. But this, you know, going back to the guy on the panel, he was saying similar things. And at the end, I start chatting. I'm saying, "Oh my God, you know, I think maybe I've got ADHD." And the whole panel started laughing. And you're saying, "No shit, said." We all said from the first minute we met you that you're definitely because they say as well, they say that like once you know, like we recognize each other instantly. We
Yeah.
recognize those traits in each other instantly.
That's really funny. Yeah, but they kept it from you. They were just waiting for you to find out for yourself.
Well, you know. So then I went and had an assessment and fell out with the psychiatrist because she was saying something I disagreed with, and I had to
Oh,
get my two penneth worth in. But yeah, it came back straight away that yeah, you're a massive lunatic, is what
yeah,
they came
you're
back.
riddled with ADHD,
Yeah,
mate.
you're
It's
riddled,
just yeah.
absolutely riddled.
Would
Thank
you
God.
how is it improved having that how is your life improved having the
Everybody
diagnosis?
says this, right? And you know what it is? It has. So people say it doesn't make any difference. I disagree. It makes a massive difference because I know lots of my character traits are now explained.
Mm,
My relationships with people, my relationship with myself, my relationship with my colleagues, the way I am at work, the way that I process, you know, the way that I react, reacting to small things can piss me off, or
Mm.
they did. But interestingly, I now understand that's just ADHD. Just allow it.
Yeah.
You don't have to jump down somebody's throat anymore. Like that, it's not an attack.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't know. I mean, I've not had any diagnosis, but I think what I see in my friends around me is that they no longer have to apologize for things. They just have to kind of accept them and not
Absolutely that.
constantly having to apologize is like, I think I've seen it be like a really freeing thing in the people around me.
Yeah.
Like yeah,
Don't beat yourself up about something
yeah.
that you might have done before because now actually there's a reason.
Yeah, and also that idea that it's not just about how is it a problem, how is it useful, how has it been in aid to not just their lives but the people around them. It's like you said, like you it's lockdown and you're going out and you're shopping for people. How many people were at home not doing that? And that's just for you,
Yeah.
but that is also part of your character as well. It's
My
sort of a combination, isn't it?
You know what? For me, I've never I'm blessed. I'm blessed with it.
Yeah,
Blessed. Give me another fat dollop of it if you want. Like I'm blessed with it. Like the thought of being, and this is nothing against anybody neurotypical, but for me, the thought of not processing at this speed
yeah.
would that would be my idea of hell. I want to know what you're saying before you finish. I want to solve the problem before you finish giving me I want to know the solution before you finish giving me the problem. All the things that I've just naturally do.
Yeah, operating at speed compared to
Operating at speed.
operating slowly, you'd probably pick at speed. I want to understand. I met you. I think it was this time last year actually.
Yeah,
And
June
yeah,
or July, Leadenhall Live.
it was yeah, and I remember thinking
It
this
was a
what
guest.
I was a guest,
The
and
tables are turned. I was
the,
interviewing you.
I thought, you know what, man, I'm gonna give this guy grilling, see how he feels, see how it feels. But I remember thinking, God, like what an accomplished guy. I remember just finding you really impressive, and I thought I'd love to understand if you've had to undertake any strategies to manage the way your mind works with also achieving your goals. Now, and we've talked about when you've got to do something, you've got to do it now. Or is it a case of everything I am has contributed to this success? Or have there been things you've had to slightly adjust and do just to manage to balance both things?
I think there's 50% managing me and 50% managing everybody around me to get where you are. And
Yeah,
sometimes you've got to play the game,
sure.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um, and sometimes you've got to like upset the apple cart and that but in equal parts. In equal parts, you've got to be a disruptor and you've got to be a law-abiding citizen, so to speak. But no, I don't think. I think that I'm really lucky that somehow I've always had what I'm going to do mapped out. I think I've
yeah,
always known, not necessarily, end to end, but definitely stage to stage, you
yeah.
know.
So
Yeah, it's mapped out.
it's
I've known it, I've planned it, I've orchestrated it. It's been something that's been fully in my control, not in somebody else's. Even if the other person, if I've allowed them or the other people to think it's in their control, I'm still playing the game. I'm still, leading from the front.
it sounds like it's planning, isn't it? It's about like seeing like almost visualizing like what it is you want to achieve and then knowing that is it a case of knowing the journey to each step might not be like a smooth journey, but
Yeah,
because you know where you're going, you can always
exactly.
it's always there in the horizon.
Exactly. You know the goal, so the destination. So the journey takes itself, but the destination, as long as you keep pushing towards that destination, I
That's
think.
yeah. So let's talk about that then because there's long-term goals, right? But then there's
Mhm.
short-term goals. So I find when I'm busy, some of the hardest things to do, like when I'm busy with work, some of the hardest things to do is then to manage all the things around work. And it's boring. Laundry needs to be done. I've got to eat, right? I've got to
The
like
hardest things.
yeah, I've got to
The
like
hardest things.
there's these kids you got to look after because it's the law which I have. How does managing your work then fit into managing like your life?
I'm going to be honest. I don't find work that difficult. I just get on with it. I know what I've got to do, and I just crack on and I do it. Even though I'm busy. I'm always busy, and it is annoying, and it is high stress and all those things. But That's just, I've never known anything different. Life, ask me how many times I've forgotten to insure the car.
Uh,
Ask me how many parking tickets a week I get. Ask me how many points I've got on my license. Just stuff like that. I eat out because if I buy food, you can guarantee that I'll have a fridge full of food that's been delivered, and then it all goes in the bin because it's all out of date. And it's just the life part is hard, the work part is easy.
yeah, that's interesting. And I think I've heard this term recently called the ADHD tax, which is basically just a
Yeah.
reflection of, because I find the amount of
I love how
admin.
this has turned into an ADHD
I
chat.
know. And the weird thing is,
That was never the plan.
this is
I don't
like the most it's
procrastinate.
come
Let's get
up.
on to the let's
Yeah.
let's finish off on the ADHD. You're making me sound like poor old me, like I'm some like ADHD invalid.
I'm gonna play that kind of, that music you get in documentaries, like the
In it.
violins, yeah. But I
Anybody listening, I am not an invalid.
anyone listening, Colin is incredibly well put together. In fact, he's an advert for ADHD. We should bottle it, and
Yeah, I think
we
exactly.
should
The
all
government
take it
should put
every
me on milk
day.
bottles.
Yeah, we should take it every day. But it is. I mean, it's a tax on it. If you're bad at admin, life is hard now. Everything needs to be renewed. The direct debits need to be cancelled or not cancelled. Forms need to be filled in. And I now, the minute I have to do something, the minute something happens, a note goes in my calendar in my phone, for example, or I try and make a note or something like that. Do you think you need a team to manage your personal life? Is that what
I,
I'm saying? Because people
I,
make so much money off of
yeah.
our forgetfulness.
ADHD tax for me is a lot. It's a lot. And I
Yeah.
mean a lot. I bet I could buy a car or something ridiculous like that. It's a lot. I just worked out the other day that I've been paying for like nonsense to stop bloody viruses going in your computer
Yeah.
for years, and I've not needed it. Just absolute nonsense. Again, for me, I have a team member that helps me with home stuff as well now.
I think
Because it just helps. Like, look, if I can boss at work, I don't want to be using my brain to be remembering to insure the car when someone else can do that for me. Like, just let me just do the
uh,
work stuff.
and the worst is these car insurance people, they email you like every week to say your car insurance is going to run out. But because
Mhm.
it's car insurance, you just kind of go delete. Like you just
Yeah.
go, I'll do. Or you think, oh, it's
I,
going to run out next week. I'll do it later. Oh, it's going to run out in 2 days' time. I'll do it in 2 days' time. It's run out already. Oh, okay, that's against the law. I've got to now do it.
for me, right, it becomes important about 4 months after it needed doing.
Yeah. So, and I do think, I personally think now these companies have become more about extraction than service provision. And this is just a fact, I think. I think companies are more about how can we get money out of people rather than how can we provide a service so they volunteer
Yeah,
their money. They are more and
100%.
more relying on us. Um,
Relying on us being
yeah.
lazy
Well, not just lazy, distracted because we're busy.
or distracted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're really busy. Like
Yeah.
I have full intention to pay everything I need to pay. I don't want to. I mean, sometimes I want to rip people off, but generally speaking, I just want to pay what I owe. Generally speaking, I
Who,
want to pay
who
what
do you
I
want to rip
owe.
off? Give me one person who deserves ripping off.
Oh God, I mean, every tech company owes me
Every tech company.
10 grand, all of them.
Anything
Yeah.
that you have to subscribe to.
Ugh.
You know how hard it is to unsubscribe to something that you no longer want? Like
I
dishwasher tablets that you thought it was a good idea, and now like I get dishwasher tablets. I threw the dishwasher's been in the skip about 3 years.
it's the
Dishwasher tablets still arrive. You can tap as much as you like on every page of that website, and there's not an option. Like sometimes trying to unsubscribe. I did Simmer Eats recently, thinking
oh
some good protein food in me. Well, first of all, it wasn't good. And
no.
then secondly, trying to unsubscribe was near and impossible. There
Oh,
was
it's
done on the website
insane.
to stop it happening.
It's insane. And it's always like, and then when you find the button, it's like, are you sure? If
In
you
it.
do that, then you will unleash the seven horses of hell onto, and they'll just start. It always becomes even like Amazon. I don't use Amazon anymore, but I remember years ago trying to cancel Audible, and the way they laid it on thick, and I'm like, you're owned by the richest motherfucker in the world. Like, surely it should be like, bye, we don't need you. What do you want with my £12 a month? Like, I just no, and obviously, I guess that's how they become billionaires. But I
Oh, that's
think
it.
to
It's all
myself,
the 12
this
pounds a month that make it.
yeah, But I was like, this like you're going up into space whether I get my 20 audio point credits or not. Like it's happening. I'm not the
Easily.
difference between James Bond going to Amazon and not. I can assure you of that much. The ADHD tax is a real thing, and I love the fact your strategy is just like support another human, like
It
like
is.
another
It's
person.
it's
Yeah.
proven, isn't it? So there's a proven thing that's I think it's called body doubling, and
Oh, okay.
the best way to help somebody with ADHD over getting back on subject, the procrastination of doing something is if you've got a friend, a family member, go and sit with them. You don't have to help them. If like, so I'd be on the phone to my sister, for instance, and as I'm on the phone, I might have emptied the washer, put another load in, hung all the clothes up, yada, 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 blah, 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 da, da, da. And just because somebody else was there, whereas if I wasn't on the phone, there's no way I would have thought of doing any of those tasks.
Oh, that's really interesting.
So
So
body doubling, having somebody with you kind of helps you to distract your brain enough to do the tasks without thinking you're doing the tasks.
what I'm getting out of this conversation is something that I've not got out of any other conversation before. Not in my life, just via this podcast. And everything you've spoken about so far in terms of what you do is useful. So most of the time, people talk about procrastination. I've got, it's like, you know, cleaning, sorting out the sock drawer, folding fitted sheets. Like
Yeah.
I'll be like, I will look for something that needs to be done, or maybe I'll not even look for it. I'll just subconsciously persuade myself something needs to be done when it really doesn't, just to maybe not do the actual task at hand. But everything you've described sounds like, oh, I just have a list of things to do and I do. And like house renovations, for example, the laundry, work. Do you find yourself doing pointless tasks because you're putting off an important task?
No, I don't have that type. I would find myself doing nothing rather than doing something that needs doing. But I wouldn't like, I wouldn't start like, sewing buttons onto the curtains just because.
That's
But some people do that. I do get
yeah.
that some people do that, but
Yeah,
not
that's
me.
me. That's
And
that's that's
also
me. Yeah.
just not even like you said about you're finding that I'm saying things that are helpful or not. Yeah, even just conversation. My probably one of my worst ADHD traits or traits. Let's forget the ADHD, just traits. Cannot be bothered with like nonsense small talk. Like just shut up. And my friends will tell, like, if you speak to my friends and they'll literally tell you in the middle of them telling me something, I don't want to hear this. This just sounds like the hardest conversation ever. Like, don't tell me this. Like, stop. Just stop.
Everybody needs a Colin. Like
Everybody
every
needs that kind of clarity in their life.
yeah.
Like, nobody needs to be having like useless, pointless, like drovel conversations. Like, keep it active, keep it
keep
good,
keep it
keep
like
it like popping.
you're like a real life editor. I'm gonna come back to this podcast and be like, there's no fat here because Colin just kept me on track. Have you ever regretted an intervention during have you ever
Oh
thought,
my
oh,
God.
have you ever
Like,
thought, you
listen,
know what, I should have let them
I was
talk
just
about
chatting with my friend yesterday, and her 40th birthday, we were all in a WhatsApp chat, right? And the WhatsApp chat kept popping afterwards for like a few weeks afterwards. It was funny, but there was like about 100 people in that chat, and there was about four people making it funny. So I asked her to make me admin, and I got rid of 96 people that weren't that weren't adding to the chat.
There's
I just removed them from the group, and that was it. And maybe I don't regret it, but
you
maybe I should have.
no regrets, but I feel like being culled
Being
from
called from
a
look, if you're
WhatsApp
not gonna,
group
I think they should
is.
do that more often though. Like the people that are just sat around like innocently watching without adding to the cup, they need to go.
But I'm going to give you another side of the story because I'm in a few WhatsApp groups and I anxiety is the wrong word, but I never like to get involved in WhatsApp groups too much because sometimes it's just like if you write something and no one responds, that's worse than telling a joke and no one laughs. Do you know what I mean? That's
I
just
don't
like,
have to respond,
oh,
but how about like a little like, I mean, emojis, little
an
laughy face,
emoji,
and,
yeah.
little
Or
laughy face or a thumbs up. We're all
but
right with any kind
but
of
but
interaction.
but the
Just
other thing.
ghosting in the corner, I think, is a bit weird.
Anyway, let me finish. But the thing is, after a while, it gets to the point where you've got like 700 messages in the group, right? And then you don't want to go into it because you can't I can't read 700 messages. So it becomes a thing
Yeah.
like I've let it go for too long, but now I can't go back in because I,
So
I
that's
can't
me. I need
read.
to keep up. I need to
Yeah,
keep.
I
So
need
if I
to.
don't keep up in the chat, right,
Right.
I will leave the chat. So leave the group
Uh,
because I can't be bothered to catch up. I need to keep up.
so you not only do you cull, you will
Oh, I
self.
leave. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
leave.
will remove
Yeah, I leave.
yourself.
I
Yeah,
leave.
I need to be brave. I need because there's
My
about
friends also know if you put me in a group with too many people, you have to put me in a side group because you know that I'm not going to have fun in that group. In the
yeah,
main group, I'm not going to have no fun. So
that's
if
me.
you want me to know what's going on, so there's groups where there's groups that I'm in with my friendship circle where I'm in another group where somebody tells me what's going on, the bits I need to know, because they know I'm not keeping up with that. I'm not.
Because
I'm
you get
not.
you get the edited highlights. It's like The Apprentice when
Yeah,
they used to do like
exactly.
where
The
you get like the
edited
side
highlight.
you get the side group, you get the main mission, and you get the side mission, and you get the two people who are doing something else.
Here's how
That's
dread it is. Yeah, my
that.
my friend, she bought tickets to go to a gig in Leeds in a couple of weeks. But I don't like pre-planned things. So she's bought me a ticket and she's kept it a secret from me. But four other friends have said, "We're going to this night on the 18th. We're going to this night on the 18th." And I'm like, I'm not supposed to know this, am I?
Um, that was a bit of a curveball. I don't like pre-planned
I
things.
don't like pre-planned things. No.
But you do
I
like to
don't like
plan for,
like
but you like to plan for the future.
So listen, I plan for work, right?
Right.
Because my job means I have to plan for work. And
Right.
planning for the future goes hand in hand with planning for work because that kind of is, I see the future as just being an extension of work. I
Yeah.
don't plan like my personal life future, but I kind of know work-wise where I'm going to be, and the byproduct of that is, how
Yeah.
I'm live. But no, I don't know what I'm doing on Saturday. I don't know what I'm doing. I definitely don't know what I'm doing.
Oh,
Mum.
I can't live like that. How?
I can't live the other way. I
So, d-
cannot. I
but
don't go
how
to
do you,
anybody's birthday party ever.
but so what if
Christmas
you,
in the
what,
bin.
so did first of all, did you end up, you went to this thing
It's
even
not
after
happened
going?
yet. It's on the
Oh,
18th.
oh, it's on the 18th. Okay.
It's on the
But now,
18th.
yeah. So now they're going to have to add an extra bit of unpredictability to the evening.
Exactly that. Exactly
Yeah.
that.
You're going
You
to
know what they're
tell,
gonna have to do? They're gonna have to bring out like a guest of honor that like lures me out of my cave.
oh, they're gonna buy you like a red letter day. So just before you're gonna
Yeah.
roll down a hill on a massive inflatable pool or
On a
something.
yeah, on a chunk of
Like,
cheese.
yeah, just like just like totally
Cheese
random.
wheel.
So would you describe? Oh, I mean, this is because this is a dumb question. I guess you're a very spontaneous person then, because
Yeah,
it's just
spontaneity every time.
yeah,
Like, let's just go to Edinburgh because it's fun. Let's just, let's. I was in the airport. I was actually going to Puerto Rico a few months ago, last month, and it was raining. It was raining in Puerto Rico, so I ended up just buying a flight to Miami instead, and just ignored Puerto Rico and went to Miami. That's the guy I am. I'm like, that's more
yeah.
fun.
So
I headed off to Puerto Rico and I ended up in Miami. Lol, that's me.
So it's that immediate make a split decision as the. So I'm not a clinician, or I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not anything like that. So just to kind of caveat this, but
Or
I'm
you're gonna diagnose me with
I'm
like,
not I'm not going to diagnose you, but I'm going to rationalize. I feel like a lot of energy goes into your professional life and making it work, and the
yeah,
organization and the
yeah,
support as well around that, and the
yeah,
goal setting, and you need to offset that with
100%,
it needs to be offset. It's like just,
100%.
and I don't get the impression you're a 9 to 5 guy. You might be putting in 50, 60 hours a week, even
Yeah,
more.
and the
So
rest.
yeah, so it's kind of like when you're off the clock, what's the response? Fuck it, we're going Puerto Rico. And
You know what it
that's
is?
what I'm hearing. Yeah.
It's not even that. It's not even off the clock. It's like sometimes work can be so much that if you didn't just like have impulsive decisions, like I've before I've got to uh the Friday and thought, right, I can go north or I can go to Paris.
Mm,
Like there was no plan. I have to buy some boxer shorts and a toothbrush when I get to Paris because I ain't got anything. Do,
yeah.
do you get what I mean? So that's
It's
exciting. That keeps life exciting.
exactly because when you don't
Otherwise, you're just working all the time.
precisely, it's basically a version of work-life balance. So I think I have no idea what kind of person listens to this podcast. Probably someone that just follows me on Blue Sky. But I do like to think that people. who like, because I used to have an ordinary job. I was a project manager for years, and like I used to look at like, you know, people who ran
Have you got
businesses.
an extraordinary job now?
I would say,
Can you say an ordinary job?
well, I would
Like
say,
the rest of us.
okay. Let me rephrase
We don't
that.
get to toss it off on television and
Let,
write books.
let me rephrase that. I used to have I used to do white collar work, as it is popularly known academically, I guess. And now I kind of do. Now I don't even have a job. I just kind of people ask me to do things, and I say yes, which is a very precarious existence. But I think,
Precarious is the right word, yeah.
yeah,
Nice but precarious.
so precarious. You know, like there's no, I have no, there's nothing in my diary for like May. It's March now, and I don't know how I made any money in May. But I always think that like I always think I always compare my life to before. Like before, there was like you be somewhere for 9 or 10 maybe, and then you stay there, and then you go home, and there's an element of there's an element of like a social contract that's just there, and you sign
Mm.
it and you do it. And then when you take that away and you just have like a blank schedule in front of you, how you fill it up and that responsibility, I think is actually, when you think about it, I think it's quite overwhelming. And I always look at people who are like do amazing things, but actually the boring thing is, how do they do that? Like what how do
What
you
with
be your
with their personal life?
yeah, exactly. And how do you be your own boss? How do you work your own routine and then be productive at the same time? And I ask everyone on this podcast, like, with being your own boss, with managing other people, with having to manage your personal life and family life and social life and everything in between. What's do you have like a single piece of advice or learning that can really communicate how it works for you? Does that make sense?
Yeah, for me, I need to keep filling my cup. So filling my
Yeah.
cup means like doing like learning something, doing something new. You get to like maybe your late 20s and the learning slows down, like the new things, new food, new places, new people, it all slows down. So I think that you've got to keep, or for me, I've got to keep that going. I travel a lot. I travel, I go to new places. I take myself. To use the term out of my comfort zone,
Yeah.
my comfort zone is anything that's outside of what would be described as the comfort zone. I like to feel uncomfortable, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It does.
Um,
And I love
it
that.
reminds me I'm alive, I'm a human. I'm not just a machine that's just plodding along and working and going to a restaurant and going to bed and, mowing the lawn.
I love that. And even though this is a very boring thing to say, it's also so
I don't have a
educational.
lawn, by the way.
You don't have that's the what that's you're gonna make a roof garden now. Just
I have one of those.
um, um, I was going to say, like, it's a bit boring to say, but I think when you live your life like that, it's so educational. The amount of empathy you get from it and what you learn
Yeah.
about people and cultures, it's incredible. And I think that's amazing. I love that advice.
Traveling is the best thing you can do for yourself.
Yeah, I
The
love
best thing. The
it.
best thing, no matter where it is, even if it's just inside this country.
People don't
Even if,
travel. People don't travel around the UK
yeah,
enough.
even if it's just inside this country, get to
Yeah,
Edinburgh, get to Wales, go and hang out in Birmingham, like, go to the beaches in Liverpool. They're amazing. So what about like the thing about this on the timeline, yeah? I have this kind of thought process that we're here for about 75 years. Obviously people live longer, but let's just say 75 years. And for the first 20, you kind of live under your parents' roof, so they don't really count. You're just doing what you're told to do.
yeah.
And then you kind of either at university for a few years or you get a job. And then if you're at that job until, for the next 40 years or more, when do you actually live? Does that make sense? When do you actually live in the world as it's laid out at the moment?
Mm.
When do you actually live? You might get like I'm saying 10 minutes. You might get a couple of years at the beginning before you get a serious job so I've got this thing that if you're not filling your cup constantly throughout life, then you're missing an opportunity because you ain't going to get that time back.
I think
Time becomes less.
I couldn't agree more. And I think what that is it's a call to action to anybody who is not who is distracted by the things that are used to distract us. And it's like being
Yeah.
alive is not about what you might think it is. Does that make, we might think it's
It
about,
makes
you know,
it makes
the
total sense.
job that we have, or the tax we've got to pay. It's about something else, and we always
Yeah.
have to make sure that we're preserving
Go
that.
and see that piece of art hanging on the
Yeah,
wall. Like go and
absolutely.
listen to a band. Go and take your clothes off and swim in a go cold water plunge in
No, don't
somewhere.
do that. Don't do that. That's procrastinate madness. No, I do. It's
I agree.
don't do
Not
that.
for me, but
Not
for
for-
whoever you might be that does
yeah,
that.
go
Yeah,
sit
you
in a.
go and do that. But do you
I
get what I mean? Like,
yeah,
just do the
totally.
things. Like, go off and read a
It's
book, or it's wild to me that people. Well, I keep hearing this thing about people don't spend time on their own, or people that have never been to a restaurant on their own or traveled on their own. And I'm like, that's wild to me because I travel everywhere on my own and I eat on my own every day somewhere in some way, shape, or form. I think people need to kind of be more comfortable being with themselves and doing things that serve themselves.
absolutely. I find being on my own charges my. I literally feel my energy levels rising
Me too.
when I'm on my own, and I
Me too.
try and carve out time to be
Me too.
uh
I'm a people
alone.
pleaser in many forms. Not that I do what they want me to do, but I'm the person who organizes. I'm the person that thinks for everybody or solves the problem or decides where we're all going to eat or do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So to be or even if it's just providing the joke, providing fun or the topic of conversation, it could be anything, but it's often centered
Yeah, and I also
around something that I've decided. So to be on my own is like,
I find it like, you know, like snow globes. I describe it like when I'm not on my own, it's all this, it's been shaken, right?
yeah, yeah,
And everything is just swirling around. And I need to be on my own for everything to come back down to the bottom again and just be settled. And then I'm like, right, I know that's when I make my lists. That's when I watch things I want to watch. That's when I read things I want to read. That's when I
interesting. This is what I'm saying.
organize. And that's when I kind of also, that's where I feel a sense of satisfaction where I process
Yeah,
what I've been doing, because I do tend to feel quite miserable about my work. So I'll be like, oh, I did this thing and it was shit, and everyone will say it was good, and I won't realize it was good until I sit down and replay it in my mind.
and do you
Or
do that? Do you tear your work apart and stuff like
yeah, of
that?
course, I'm
Yeah,
my own. I'm like, people think the Guardian do the worst reviews. I am the worst reviewer of
yeah.
my work. Like, but I should be, because ultimately, if it doesn't please me, then it's shit.
Are
But
you
then
not the
yeah,
person that you're trying to please when you're creating work though?
massively,
Because
massively.
I am.
Yeah.
I actually have clients who pay me to create something for them, and the person that I'm trying to impress is always me, not them. I always try to
100%. Yeah.
impress me. If I'm impressed, then we're good because I'm the worst critic of things, and I don't, when I say critic, I don't mean like finger wagging, eye rolling, just I can nitpick and see like, oh my gosh, this wasn't right, or I should have done this, or why was, when we started on this and I was like, the light behind, is that all right? Like I'm always just think, and that's an ADHD thing. Again, it's like the bandwidth is so wide that I don't just see the obvious, I see the thing behind that and then the small, minute detail somewhere else.
Yeah, for me, it's about, I don't have high standards. I've got particular standards with my work, and
Yeah.
there is something that I'm aiming for. So, like, with comedy, wherever I do, I'm primarily trying to make people laugh. But the thing is, people make other people laugh every day. It's not a
Mm.
unique thing, right?
Yeah.
Anybody likes, you know, Dave from HR made Cheryl from accounts laugh. Somewhere that happened today. So I'm trying to do something else. I'm trying to maybe talk about a bit of knowledge. I'm trying to make a particular observation. I'm trying to use a certain angle. And so I'm try the standards I use to assess my work aren't necessarily the standards other people might use. And that does mean that I've got to go away and think really carefully about whether
Mm.
or not I like what I've done or not, because I'm not using the standards other people are using. So I would have gone to a show and I could have torn the roof off a venue and people say that was really good. But if I haven't done it in a particular way that I'm aiming for, and part of that is because I did give up a lucrative career to come here. So I didn't give
Mm.
up a lucrative career to stand on stage and be like, isn't it funny when? Like, who gives a shit? I did it to say a particular thing, to convey something important, to start a conversation or whatever. And I don't find that pretentious at all, because I think being a creative is in itself is pretentious. So it's a privilege. So that's why I'm I think that is why I think I'm like my own worst critic. And that's why I do need that alone time to kind of like process,
You
think.
pat yourself on the back for even having the balls and then
No,
the tenacity.
no, because it's a privilege. I like it literally. First of all, I speak one of the most widely spoken language in the world. I've got a passport, so I can travel the world doing it. I've got and I have like, I mean, I would say a very humble upbringing, but generally speaking, education was important. So I've got all these qualities that have made it easy for me to do this. Then
Mm.
it just becomes a case of having, just persevering and to get to the point where you're good at it. So I don't want to. So it's never like, oh, you know, I've got the balls to do it. It's always like I have been given these opportunities, so I'm able to do it. So how am I going to extract the best out of that? What in the time I've got to do this? But we have got a limited amount of time, and you have given us an amazing insight into the mind of Colin. Like literally, I'm like fascinated. I ask everybody at the end of every podcast, what are you going to do with your day now that we've finished? And
I
crucially, are you going to do it? I think you're the first person that is going to do it.
Yeah, I have. I've got in 7 minutes I've got a meeting.
Oh my God, 7 minutes.
So
Right.
I'm gonna jump off from you. I'm gonna jump on with somebody else, and then I've got another one after that, and then I've got another one after that. And I
Colin,
don't really know how I'm gonna get from one to the other because one of them's in the city, and I'm currently at my house in Hackney. So
Colin, your time is so precious. I'm so grateful that you jumped onto this for me. I hope
no,
it
thank you
wasn't
for having me.
a complete waste
It
of your
was fun.
time.
This was like a welcome bit of crazy in the middle of my pretty much regular day.
Oh, I'm really thrilled I've got to know you a bit better. I think you're fantastic, and I'm sure we'll cross
As do
paths
I.
again. But wish you all the best in with whatever home improvement you got going on next. Um,
Watch this space. Watch this space.
absolutely. And when next time something falls off a wall, I'm going to give you a call because you sound really useful. Get on with your day. Go, go, go. You got 7. You got 6 minutes now. You got six
Take
minutes
care,
now.
yeah.
Okay.
Take care. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. What did I tell you? Isn't he a cool guy? What have I taken from that conversation? Obviously, get it done, get it now. But the big thing, WhatsApp group behavior. I do not want to be turfed out of a WhatsApp group. Not every group has a Colin who is brave enough to kick someone like me out, but one day I will be kicked out of a group and it will be painful. So I need to start participating or I need to make a decision and leave. Thank you, Colin, for that motivation. And thank you for listening. I hope you appreciated that. I do appreciate you for listening. If you enjoyed it, like wherever you get to like stuff, comment if you get to comment, tell a friend, share it with a friend, or just come find me on social media. I'm on Athena Kabenu on all of the main platforms, not Twitter though. We don't do Twitter around here. Again, appreciate you listening and we'll catch up next time.